Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen, Back to School Edition.
Thank you for joining us. This is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen, our 41st show, and it is our back to school special edition. That was my daughter Daisy introducing the show, and that was my son Carson who played us into the show with his bass clarinet. I am so proud of them as they officially become 7th graders today after the orientation. Well, our giveaway this month is all about celebrating cars here in the Motor City. We started off with the Troy Traffic Jam, and of course we had the big Woodward Dream Cruise, and next weekend we will have the Marysville Hot Wheels weekend. We keep adding to the bag that is actually ironically not here. It is in my car, but we have been adding to it. In fact, there's a new gift card in there. Jason will be here at the end of the show to give us another hint as to what else will be in that mysterious bag. We'll also announce our winner on the September 9th show. As I said, this is our back to school show. We're touching on a little bit of everything from kids' mental health, saving money on decorating that dorm, and also tasty lunches and easy dinners as the school year kicks off. Well, backpacks, school supplies, and cool clothes top of mind for kids, but for parents, it's a little different. Kids' mental health has now become parents' top concern. That is according to Pew Research Center polling, and the numbers actually ranked higher than drugs and alcohol and even gun violence. Monica Nagel is a therapist from the Birmingham Maple Clinic. And Monica, how can we shape our school year routines to kind of make sure everybody is stress-free? Is it possible?
I don't know if it's possible.
Yes.
But we can manage it.
Okay.
And we can make it manageable for everyone. I think first and foremost, it is checking in with your kids. How are they doing? What are their concerns? How are they feeling about the new school year or adjustments coming? And how we do that is how are you feeling about this?
You actually talk to them.
Correct.
What if they don't talk to you? What if you get the, how are you? I'm okay. And you have to engage them in conversation.
Absolutely. I think opening that door, planting that seed, I'm here for you. If you'd like to talk, if you'd like to connect, I want to be a sounding board for you. Change can be hard. Change can be difficult, but you're strong and I believe in you.
And routines are hard to get back into.
Absolutely.
And I think when you kind of don't know what to expect, that complicates everything because everybody likes to know what the next step is.
The unknowns are
so scary.
anxiety provoking. Yes. And so checking in with them about that.
Okay.
And validating them. We do not need as parents to find solutions for our children. They just need to be validated. And the unknowns are really frightening and can be incredibly overwhelming. And stay in that with them.
Okay.
Maybe it's talking about your own experience with that, but I think everybody wants to be seen. And I think a lot of times we as parents, as mothers, we want to immediately, it'll be okay.
Right.
You'll be fine.
How can I help you?
Yeah. You don't need to.
Are you sure?
They are smart and intelligent and capable. And if they want feedback, we talk to them about that. What does that look like? How can I be supportive? Whether it's, do you want to go up to the school and walk around? Find your classes. Do you want me to go buy a lock?
Right.
And we can practice your combination beforehand.
Oh yes, because that is a thing, especially for kids going into middle school, right? When they have the locker experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Even college-age students, maybe it's going up a couple weeks beforehand and walking around campus, seeing about where their dorm is in relation to the cafeteria, to your classrooms. I think finding that routine for them can help.
Okay.
But it's also letting them guide you. We do not need to fix. We all just want to be validated, and it's scary. Change is scary.
Change is scary, and especially if you're going into obviously a new grade, but if you're going into like a new school, right? So you've got the little ones, and then you've got the middle schoolers, and then you've even got the kids who are going into high school.
Right.
And so parents kind of need to adjust for the age, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I also think, though, that it's about validating them. Sitting down with them and saying, how can I best support you? I see you. I know this is a big change coming up. What are you thinking? Is it riding the bus? Is it maybe trying out for a new sport? Let's talk about it.
Okay, so let's talk about, there are kids that are overscheduled, right? And I think that some kids need that, but I think other times kids don't want to be involved at all in extracurricular activities. But as a parent, do we force them, or do we let them decide? How do we navigate that?
I think that depends on age.
Okay.
As we teach younger children about how to regulate their body and their nervous systems, we have to set them up for success. So I think it is totally acceptable to schedule them, but if we find that our kids just aren't acting like themselves, not getting enough sleep, more irritable, that's when maybe we start to pull back. Come middle school, high school, it's checking in with them.
Okay.
I see you're not getting as much sleep, or maybe your diet's changed.
Right, for sure.
You're not having enough time for homework, you're staying up way too
Way
late.
too late.
Let's connect, let's check in.
Okay. So we have some calming techniques. These are books for little kids,
These
right?
are books for younger children,
Okay.
more elementary school.
Okay.
The magic breath is a wonderful way to teach your children how to envision their feelings and their emotions and let it out.
Okay, and then this one, In My Heart. I like this one.
In My Heart is a wonderful book that just talks about emotions and feelings and allows your children and you to navigate what those look like in your everyday lives.
And what are those two?
The What If book is a
Okay.
wonderful book for children with anxiety, and it helps them to navigate all of the loud internal conversations they're having with themselves that create fear and anxiety, and helps them to navigate and reframe them into more positive. Gorilla Thumps and Bear Hugs is a tapping solution.
Really?
And it really helps children to become in tune with their body and help their nervous system.
Okay. So these are for younger children. I know as I have middle schoolers, and I will freely admit that if I see one of them stressing, I start stressing, and it kind of does this, it escalates. And so how do we as parents not do that? She's like, book a session.
Take a deep breath. Remember that those are your children's emotions and that we can easily play into them. We want to fix, we want to calm, but validate them, separate ourselves. We're here for you. I'm here for you. If you need to go for a walk around the block while your middle schooler has a little bit of a meltdown at home, do it. Take a break. We're going to come back. We want to be their anchor through this change. We don't want to allow our emotions to bleed into their own.
How do you know when it's time for maybe a child that has a lot of anxiety, maybe to come see a therapist? What are the signs that you need to look out for?
Any change in mood or affect, if they're more withdrawn, if they're more dysregulated easily, lack patience, more irritable, change in sleep patterns, diet. You know your children the best, so if they're not acting themselves, I would check in with them. And I don't think we need to wait for severe or significant symptoms before you seek therapy.
Okay.
Seek it now if your child's struggling.
Right, and even beforehand, right? And especially for, I would imagine, college kids
Right.
who are away from you maybe for the first time.
Right. That
So-
is one of the largest life adjustments. Moving away to school, out of your family home, a
Nobody
roommate.
making dinner for you?
It's a lot. And so I think helping children navigate those adjustments, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so if somebody wanted to reach out to you,
You can reach us at Birmingham Maple Clinic, and we are happy to help you connect with a therapist.
do you have one tip that can go across the board for kids and parents as far as calming their nerves?
Be mindful and in the moment with your children and with yourself. Check in. How are you feeling? That's it. Everybody wants to be seen.
Okay. All right. We got this.
We do. You do.
And in full disclosure, my kids are actually here today, so that I'm a little nervous. I was surprised. I thought, oh, you know what? They watch the show, they see it, but they're actually in the studio with us today, and I'm a little nervous about that. So I'm going to take a deep breath.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
That is Monica Nagel. She is a therapist from the Birmingham Maple Clinic, and if your child or even you are struggling, of course, as Monica said, don't be afraid to reach out. This is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are broadcasting live from the My Michigan TV studios in Troy, Michigan, and this is a show where we brew up topics from a woman's point of view. So question for everyone out there and actually here in the studio, what was your favorite subject in school? Just yell it out. I'm just curious.
Science.
Huh, okay. Did I hear science? I'm not sure if I heard science. Oh, I did. I heard science. Okay, well, oh, there's another one. Okay, so our next guest is a science teacher.
Yes.
She has been teaching for 14 years.
14 years,
14 years. Jenny Wintz,
Yes.
you are a science teacher for high school.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. Your school year has not started yet.
It has not. Our teachers are due back next week, Monday, and students are due back the following Tuesday afterwards.
Okay, so how, I guess for you, I mean, this is going into your 14th year?
Yes.
Okay, so how has education changed for you?
Oh my goodness, it has changed so much. We've had, in the 14 years I've been teaching, we've dealt with the pandemic coming through, a lot of changes with that and how kids are able to cope and deal with stress in the classroom and out of the classroom, and just learning like your interpersonal skills.
So have you noticed a shift since everyone's come back from the pandemic? As you know, we keep hearing about social skills.
Yes, definitely have. You talk about a lot of these kids were basically at home for an entire year, where would have been like very formative years for a lot of these kids.
And what is, you as a teacher, what have you found yourself adjusting?
I found myself adjusting to just differing like rigor levels for them. They want to, the students seem to want to be able to, I'm sorry, I'm looking for the words.
No.
They want to be able to like get those instant rewards more so, and not have to work as in depth on things.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
Okay, so what about phones allowed in your classrooms or no?
Phones are allowed in our buildings. I teach juniors and seniors mostly, and so my policy is that they should be put away out of sight, but I'm not usually one to take them from the kids because they're about to go off to college where they have to be able to learn how to regulate that use, and so trying to teach them good habits without completely removing them from them.
So if you had, I know you, I mean, you deal with older kids, and so by then, I mean, you said what, juniors and seniors?
Yes.
Okay, so they're almost at the end of their school career, but parents still need to be involved.
Yes, parents do.
What do you want parents to know?
Parents at my age, they should be kind of trying to guide their kids and trying to teach their kids how to have the conversations they need to with their teachers. So if there's like a grade issue, coach your kid, talk to your child about being able to go talk to that teacher, and kind of working with them on developing those skills to be able to talk to the adults in their life that they need to have those conversations with.
What do you think, I mean, as far as kids go, what would you want them to know?
The kids, I would want them to have some confidence that they can work through hard things and they can get through the tougher problems, and just keep trying and don't be afraid to get things wrong or to fail. Your teachers are there to support you and help you however you need to be helped.
So what do you think of, have you seen a change in kids asking more questions, less questions? I mean, if you're doing a science experiment and are kids holding back, or are they all in?
It greatly depends on the kids. You see all ranges in the classroom. You have those kids who will ask every question and want you to walk them through every single step of the lab. And then you have the kids who totally disengage and don't want to do any of it. And then you have the kids who are thrilled to be in and learning and doing hands-on things. And so it's just, you have to know your student.
How many students do you have a year?
I have about 25 a class and about 5 classes. So
Really?
yeah, 100.
That's a lot of personalities to
it
deal
is.
with. Okay, so you as a teacher, going in 14 years, what do you do for yourself to kind of manage this?
The first couple weeks are hard. I'm not even sure I know my own first name after those first 2 weeks. But you just kind of try to get to know the kids. I ask a lot of questions daily of what's your favorite food? What's your favorite cartoon character? Just silly questions to get them talking to each other, talking to me, and just trying to really get to know them.
What about studying?
Studying. That's always a good one. I always tell my kids at least 10 minutes every subject every night. And that idea is with that, even if they don't have homework, they're getting that 10 minutes of review, so that way they don't have to sit and cram for an hour the night before a test. And so now subjects like math, where you're typically assigned homework every night, that counts for your 10 minutes.
Okay.
But other subjects, I know like in my class for physics, we don't always assign homework every night, and so they should have those 10 minutes of review time going over what we learned in class, what lab experiments we did, trying to build on, make sure they have that knowledge base.
Have you noticed at the beginning of the school year, I know everyone's getting back into the routine, but the whole summer slide thing?
Yes. With us, probably the biggest issue I see with the high schoolers with the summer slide is honestly sleep schedules. You have these teenagers who are used to being up all hours of the night, and now all of a sudden they have to be taking physics at 8 a.m. And
That does not sound fun.
no. And so starting to get your students back into that sleep routine where they're getting to bed at an appropriate hour so that they can start getting.
What do you think is the appropriate bedtime? I'm just curious.
I would say your teenagers, they say 8 to 10 hours to sleep a night, and so they want, if you're getting up and getting to school, they're getting up at 7 a.m., you go back, it's got to be at least 10 or 11.
Okay, so what about time? You mentioned time management and studying, but what about the kids who have a trouble with organization and stuff like that?
It's about finding a system that works for them. For some kids, that's going to be binders for their class so that they can go ahead and they can put all their stuff in a binder. Other kids, that's going to be a folder and a notebook, but just trying to really work with with your student and figure out what's going to work for them in terms of organization. With the younger kids, figuring out ways to kind of hold them accountable with that organization piece, and then hopefully you can build that in by the time they get into those upper level grades.
Okay, so one thing that I noticed is the switch from elementary to middle school is huge.
Yes.
And not just for the kids, but also as a parent, because you're all of a sudden you can't text their teacher.
Right.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, the communication has dropped so significantly. And as a parent, I have to remind myself, okay, you have to check in on their grades, you have to do this, you know, just because you're not hearing from a teacher, doesn't mean everything's okay.
Right. Parents have so much access nowadays with information online. Most schools have some kind of learning platform where teachers are posting assignments, due dates and things of that nature. You also have online grade books, and so you can see those grades kind of in real time as they unfold. I do encourage parents not to check them every minute, like
not
the stock market, but
Okay.
maybe check in like once a week, because if you're checking them constantly, you're building in some of that anxiety for those students. I know I would put a grade in maybe second period, and by lunch I'd have an email from the parent, and I haven't even handed the assignment back to the student yet.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So give them a little time, give them a chance to work it out with their teacher, whatever needs to happen. But maybe at least once a week, I would say check in and make sure that they're up on what they need to be up on.
Okay, you are a high school teacher, but one more question for you. Do you mind parents reaching out to you?
Absolutely not. As long as they're reaching out, polite, respectful, we're good. We can have a nice civil conversation about things.
Okay, so you don't mind that?
Not at all.
Okay. Okay, so you as a teacher, what do you focus on for the year? How do you get I mean, that's a lot to deal with.
Yes.
So how do you manage that?
So I kind of look and take things step by step. Look at what preps I have, what do I need to get ready, and kind of take things a little, especially at the beginning of the year, one day at a time. As I'm starting to get to know these kids, what are they capable of, what can they handle, and just take it one step at a time.
Okay, well listen, thank you so much for being here. Happy
you.
school year. My desk is a mess. This is like a backpack just, spilling out.
Yes.
Here's a button.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And that is Jenny Wintz. She's a science teacher, and thanks so much, Jenny, for being here. I appreciate it. Well, sometimes kids do need extra help. Maybe they need one-on-one tutoring or just help honing their study skills. Kimberly Smith is the owner of Mathnasium. A few, actually, Kimberly, and you are, I guess, all about math.
We are all about math, yes.
Okay, so Mathnasium is obviously a tutoring organization.
Yes, supplemental education focused on math. We work with students kindergarten through 12th grade. All math from early elementary all the way up through calculus. And actually lately we've even had some college kids that have reached out to us that are struggling as they start to get going with math, and so we can even help them as well.
So you own 4 different locations.
I do,
Okay,
yes.
so they're all in different, Commerce?
I have Commerce, West Bloomfield, Birmingham, and Canton.
Okay, so as we mentioned with Jenny, the pandemic has changed kind of the way that kids learn and even parents learn or interact, right? So when do parents decide to send their kids to you?
Typically parents will look at, how they're progressing in school, and it will spark them to kind of, reach out if they are seeing that their kids are struggling. But quite honestly, it is not just a program for when kids are struggling. So if you are noticing that your student enjoys math and wants to be enriched and further challenged, that's an opportunity to continue to do that. Sometimes in school, teachers are not able to differentiate as much for the students that are above grade level, and so Mathnasium can support with that, in addition to students that might be, not working at the average pace that most kids are.
So when you see a student, do you evaluate them, or how does somebody get enrolled?
Yes, so basically we will do an evaluation. Typically we do that for free, and it allows us to identify where students' strengths are, where there are opportunities for growth and development, and also where we can start with them. If they are, above grade level, what's the best place to start working with them to keep them challenged and keep their interest in math as well, and also to make it fun.
Can math be fun? I'm not sure.
You can talk to all of my students that enjoy coming to Mathnasium. It is important for math to be fun and engaging. Most people, you think back, to whether they liked math or they enjoyed it, and typically has something to do with an experience they've had as they were growing up.
Interesting.
An interaction they might have had with a teacher that really made it fun for them, or an experience that wasn't quite as positive. So it's very important for our instructors to be very engaging and keep math interesting for them as well as fun.
So when you mentioned the whole, either they like it or they don't, I remember as a kid, so anxious when the teacher would call on me because I was not good at math at all, in full disclosure. And the one time I thought I got like this A on a test, I didn't. I actually flunked it. And she was like, "I'm so sorry, but you actually didn't even pass this." And I was like, "What?" But math is something you need. It's one of those skills. Oh, it's one of those skills that for her. Okay. It's one of those skills that we have to carry that through life.
Yes.
And so it's important, even if you don't like it, to know it.
It is, and not everybody is going to be great at math. And I think that's one thing that, we're all unique. We have our own strengths. We have the things that we're good at, the things that we're not as good at. As a parent myself, I had 2 kids. One was really good at it, natural, and one that had to work a little bit harder. And I think that's, the important thing that we have to share with our kids is that, everything is not always going to come easy. There are things in life that we have to put in that extra work to be able to be successful. And sometimes that could be, getting the additional support that you might need. And Mathnasium is one of those places that they can get that.
So the 4 locations, are you guys open 7 days a week, or?
We're typically open 4 to 5 days a week,
Okay.
During the school year, Monday through Thursdays, and then typically 1 day on the weekends.
Okay.
To try to work around all of the activities that, that parents have kids scheduled in. I
Right.
heard you talking about that.
Exactly.
And Mathnasium is one of those things that it should become part of their life as well. It's just as important, if not more important, than you know, baseball and sports, and, you know, my kids played sports as well. I've got one in college that plays sports, but he was also involved in Mathnasium because academics can be obviously more important than, you know, what you might even achieve, you know, sports-wise.
How long is a typical tutoring session?
Typically an hour.
Okay.
And typically students come twice a week, you know, and we do our best to work around those schedules, you know, because kids are very busy. And being a parent myself, I can empathize with how, you know, busy, you know,
Right.
moms and dads are, you know, maneuvering the kids throughout their weekly schedule.
Okay, well, listen, thank you so much for joining us. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And then, of course, people can reach out, find you online.
They can find us online, mathnasium.com, and find the Mathnasium that's closest to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Brooke.
Thank you. And that is Kimberly Smith. She is the owner of Mathnasium locations in Orchard Mall, Canton, and also Birmingham, and also Commerce. Well, summer is winding down. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. This is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. I'm Brooke Allen. This is our 41st show. The summer vacation posts on Instagram have now turned to kids with backpacks or parents toting their kids and their stuff off to college. Kind of crazy, the cost. The National Retail Federation estimates that families will spend an average of $890 on school supplies this year. By the way, that is up $25 from last year. And an annual survey by the National Retail Federation also revealed that college students spend an average of $836 on dorm furnishing costs. Well, electronics and clothing, but we have ways to cut that cost down and also be unique and save money. Jason Dean is the co-owner of Time Warp Vintage in St. Clair Shores. And Jason, who doesn't love to save money and also have cool things?
Absolutely, especially when you are shelling out a ton of money for books and
Yes.
tuition and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Building or furnishing the dorm room can become daunting.
And less priority, I would
And
think, for the
exactly.
parents, but probably top priority for the kids,
Exactly.
right? Okay, so you own Time Warp Vintage
I
in
do.
St. Clair Shores, and this is amazing because, you know, vintage is back, right?
Yes, very much so.
So any kid who has like a vintage dorm room is gonna, you know, they're gonna be pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. Even if it's a more modern dorm room,
Right.
because you can, you know, eclectic taste is always the best, having
exactly.
a little bit of everything.
Okay, so what do we have?
So when I was in college and everything, some of the essentials, I just brought a few things, even though when you're setting up a dorm room, the only thing that really comes in that dorm room is the bed.
Yeah.
So you need a desk, you need chairs, you need stuff like that. And by going to vintage or antique stores or thrift stores like Volunteers of America's Thrift
Yes.
or Time Warp
Yeah.
Vintage, you can pick those up at a much cheaper discount. And the sustainability, because they were built back when things were built better.
Right.
You can actually, if you have multiple kids going to college, you can pull them down and use them again. So that way you're not shelling out thousands of dollars on the dorm room on top of books and everything else.
Yeah, that's a ways away for me, but I'm, you know.
Yeah. But you remember when you were in college?
I do indeed. Okay, so
So some of the things
This
are
is
like
so cool.
the trays.
Right.
These trays, TV trays are great because you're going to sit in front of TV or you're going to sit in front of your computer. But if you're in bed, having one of these leg trays is good because you can put your laptop on it.
Yeah.
You can,
Or your
you know,
TV
read it-
dinner.
or your TV dinner
Ramen
on
noodles.
top of it. And then the legs fold up and it's easily stored
Oh,
under the
see?
bed.
Okay.
You know what
All
I
right,
mean?
we got that.
Something to that effect. You want storage containers. So pop up the vintage from the 90s, the
Oh,
pop
yeah.
up storage is good because when you're not using them.
All right, so open one of those for me.
So you push it down. You push it down and you've got your bowl.
Very
and then you
cool.
can store in it. And then
Right.
if you're not using it, because space is at a limit,
Yeah.
you can just fold them up.
And it will fit in
the
those
old school-
little tiny refrigerators, right?
Absolutely, right? But, and then of course, you know, because you can't wash your dishes unless you go down to, or you do it in the bathroom.
Bathroom, gross.
Paper plates work well, and paper plate carriers are good because you have a handle.
Those are cool.
Something like this, and you walk into a vintage store, you see these. Oh, you know, I'm not barbecuing, but these are good for
Yeah.
everything.
Exactly, and
And
they're not
then-
breakable,
Exactly.
and that's huge.
Exactly. And then, of course, you know, the different mugs that you can
Yes,
put
and
your
we have our
pincers in,
trolls. We all
pencils
love our
in.
trolls. Trolls are back.
And you can utilize things for different things. So
Exactly.
you've got cups, and you can put your pencils
Okay,
in them.
what is this?
This is good for your shower bag because you have to take, you know, you go down to the showers because
Right.
they're not in the dorm rooms. You got to carry everything. So
That's
the
cool.
nylon, the vintage nylon carry bags are great for those because you can just hang them
Kinda
right
looks
out
like
in
the
the
Detroit
shower.
Lions colors,
It
too,
is
I'm
the
thinking.
Detroit Lions.
Is it?
Plus,
Okay,
if you're
yeah.
going to the Lions, you have to have a see-through
Yeah,
bag. You
that's
use
pretty
this.
cool. See, it can double.
Right?
See, we love this.
And
What is
then
that?
This is a Tupperware made toothbrush holders.
Really?
So if you do not have a
That was a salt shaker.
electric toothbrush, the toothbrush holders work great,
That's
especially
cool.
if you have roommates.
Okay, and then,
So some of the things that I think is important is because if the power goes out and we are all so dependent on our cell phones and our technology that, it's important to tell the kids when they're going off to college to have, this is a telephone book. Lifesavers telephone book. So not only are you going to have the telephone numbers that you need, because I could not rattle off your number.
no, me
It's
yeah.
in my
I
phone.
can't rattle off my number.
I can barely rattle off my own mother's
Yeah.
number. Do you know what
See?
I mean? So it's good to have backup numbers in case you have to call
Yeah.
old school
Okay, so I can
wives.
hear Daisy and
And it's
Carson saying,
Lifesaver.
yes, it is, saying, oh, that is so 1900s.
It is.
It is. But if
But
there's a
when-
major power outage,
Then you're back in the 1900s.
you are. But you have the contacts you need. I mean,
Exactly.
you may need to get in touch with a grandparent, an aunt, and uncle, whoever,
Yeah.
and you may not know their number.
Another thing
Yes.
is batteries. Don't forget your batteries.
Don't forget your
Make sure you
batteries.
bring your batteries. We brought the big battery so that you don't forget. And you're probably wondering, why do you need batteries, right?
Yeah, why do you need
because
batteries?
you should have an alarm clock radio that takes batteries only or that is wind up. Because if we do have a storm or something, you can still listen to weather
Tell the time,
reports and
listen to
find
weather.
out. And the time and
And the
stuff like
time.
that. Because even though it's really bad outside, you still are going to school.
Yes,
You know what I
sadly,
mean?
you're
You're
still
still
going
going
to
to
school.
class, so at least you
And
did
look,
one
you know
on
what? I
that.
just realized that this actually, if I'm careful,
It could be.
it can even be, I can't see it on camera, but it can even be an end table, see? Perfect.
So, and then everyday stuff like salt and pepper shakers, people don't think about that type of stuff, which you can double as like sugar shakers or
Yeah.
anything else that you want to use it for. So, I mean, just by going to vintage, antique, or thrift stores, you can actually create an entire dorm room that is in style
And sustainable.
and sustainable, and then reuse that dorm room again for the next child going to college. So you're
Less
saving
expensive for the parents, right?
Absolutely.
It's all about saving money and looking cool and getting it done.
money. Plus, it's fun to shop it.
It is fun to shop.
And you're displaying your own personality
Exactly.
instead of having everything everybody else has.
We won't mention any brands, but yeah.
Not at all.
Okay, so Time War Vintage. Tell us a little bit about your store. Of course, we were just there over the weekend.
You
It was
were,
fabulous.
You came in. You and the kids did.
We were.
We are located in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, on Harper. We have 5,000 square feet of everything you can think of from the 1950s all the way up to 2000.
That is so
Because
awesome.
20 years is vintage, so 2000 is vintage.
We are vintage. And of course, you have a deal that's running.
We do. Once you spend $25, you get 20% off the entire store.
Okay, so
So that's pretty cool. So you can come in and buy back, and this is not just stuff for college. You
No.
can do, we've got office equipment, stuff like that, or office supplies, so pencils, erasers, pens, stuff like that, at a much deeper discount than if you bought them brand new.
no, and it's a cool store. So it's one of my favorite hangouts. As Jason said, we were just there this weekend. We bought some jewelry. We
Yeah.
bought an alarm clock that went off repeatedly in the middle of the night the other day. So, so there was that, but it worked. So that
What's
was
your favorite?
Oh, and Detroit
I have the
Tigers.
Lions
And you have a
one over
Lions
there,
one too. So yeah, tons of
yeah.
sports paraphernalia.
Especially if you're going to Ohio.
Oh,
You can
yeah,
take
right.
your hometown, you know what I mean? If you're going
Exactly.
to Ohio State, you take your hometown, right?
Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And again, that is Jason Dean, of course, one of my dear friends and co-owner of Time War Vintage in St. Clair Shores. Of course, we'll see him at the end of the show, too. Well, it has been a busy summer, and September 7th is the Spalding Scramble. And while I do not golf, I am honored to be their MC. Spalding for Children was established in 1968 with the belief that every child is adoptable. And they are a national leader in foster care and adoption. This is their only fundraiser of the year. They still do have sponsorships available. You can scan the QR code if you're interested, and I hope to see you there. Again, that is September 7th. This is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen, our back to school special. And while some kids have already started, my 7th graders getting ready to start next week, and then everyone will be back in class after Labor Day, which means back to the kitchen as well. You know it's coming. I don't want a sandwich for lunch or the all-time favorite, what's for dinner? Well, Marcy Scheinbaum is a personal chef and here to help us out with some ideas. Marcy, thank you so much for coming. And you brought some goodies. What did you bring?
I did. Well, you know, we always want to make things fun for our kids, trying to get them to eat breakfast and lunch for
Yes.
sure. So I made some cute little jars here for lunches and breakfast, some hummus with veggies and a yogurt parfait and a little Caesar salad. And the key to keeping the dressing separate is to put it in the jar first.
Okay.
And then I put, the lettuce and shaved Parmesan and some fresh croutons.
And those containers are actually
They're
plastic.
reusable,
And they're
yeah.
reusable, right?
I bought, I think, a box of 24 on Amazon.
Nice.
So you can have them bring them home, wash them out. They're very affordable and good for the environment.
And they won't break.
You're right, exactly.
Okay, so egg bites are one of my favorite things.
Yes,
I
and
love
easy to
those.
make. And, I suggest if we want this to be successful to feed our children, be prepared.
Okay.
So I bought a silicone muffin pan. I sprayed it with a little bit of avocado oil, and then I made half egg whites with spinach and feta and half regular eggs with broccoli and cheddar. And you can make a dozen at a time and pop them in the
Can
freezer.
those be frozen?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they can be frozen, and then those are different flavors with different ingredients, so
Yeah.
you can match everyone's taste.
Exactly. I mean, that's the biggest challenge is our kids are picky. They know what they
Yes.
like or they don't know what they don't like.
Right.
So I suggest getting them involved. Plan on Sundays. What's our week ahead look like? And have them really participate in the list and the shopping and what they want. Kids are busy schedules, so.
And obviously, if you bring them into the mix, right, then they'll eat it.
Right.
Because, I could make a Caesar salad, put it in their lunches, and they might, I might
Right.
see it again at dinner time.
Exactly, and that's the other thing. They're busy socializing.
Right.
And
Okay, so
so-
for the child who says, I don't have time to eat.
Right.
These are.
Right, I mean, throw in some egg bites, make them a quesadilla, throw in some chicken, and, they have to like what they're gonna pack, because otherwise they're giving it to a friend.
Exactly, they're
Or
swapping
it's-
it out.
Right.
Okay, so I guess you could warm those up in the morning and wrap them in foil?
Wrap them in foil,
Okay, and they'd
exactly.
still be
Same
warm?
with chicken tenders, yeah, and they'll still be warm.
Awesome.
I mean, the kids typically eat pretty early, I feel like. I know my kids were eating at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning
Really?
for school. Yeah.
That is early.
Yeah.
And then they're grumpy by the end of the day.
And some kids don't love breakfast, and my kids were never big breakfast eaters. So, if I packed them something like this, even for lunch, they were happy.
So I'm thinking the egg bites can also be dinner.
Absolutely. I
Right.
mean, who doesn't love breakfast for dinner?
I know, Brinner, right?
Exactly. Make some French toast. I mean, I think the key to success is having your kids be involved.
Okay.
And like I said, on Sundays, I'll go to the grocery store because we'll make our list of what our schedule is and, what nights we're gonna be home for dinner, what nights we're gonna be on the road for dinner. And I'll make a dozen grilled chicken breasts, and I will, make sure that I prep all the veggies and the produce, because I think that's the key. Nobody wants to get into the refrigerator and be like, oh, I have to cut these strawberries.
Right.
Or peel these carrots. So I'll take a container, I'll cut all the vegetables, prep all the lettuce, and those are good for 3 or 4 days if you do them on a Sunday.
Okay, so what about the hummus?
I mean, the hummus for sure.
Okay.
And then, some kids you could even put like tzatziki in there if they're a little bit more sophisticated.
Right.
And then we also have a lot of food intolerances and allergies, so we want to accommodate for those. I think doing a little charcuterie cup is a great idea.
Oh,
Throw
that's
some
cool.
cheese and crackers and
So like
some
a healthy
grapes.
Lunchable.
Exactly. You are making your own Lunchable. I like to take some different lettuces with maybe a grain, like a farro, and adding that in, just because I feel like if you eat more protein, you're going to be full longer. You'll be a little bit less crabby.
Okay, and sustain that sugar level, and just, what about drinks as far as,
So I like to take some small water bottles and freeze them and use them as the ice pack in the lunch.
Oh.
And so that way it keeps the lunch cold. You don't have to worry about an ice pack coming home.
Right.
And then they can just drink the water.
Okay.
I like to stick with water. I don't like sugary beverages. I don't like pop. I mean, yes, they have some new pop,
right,
but
water's best.
water's best.
Water is
They
best.
need to stay hydrated.
Exactly.
They really do. It's better for them.
What about an easy dinner? What's one of your go-tos?
I do a lot of grilled chicken. I do a lot of whole grain pastas. I'll make a pot of marinara sauce maybe on a Sunday, and I'll freeze some. You can double or triple the recipe, put them in quart containers, which I like to buy at Gordon's,
Okay.
and just put them in the freezer. Put a little masking tape on there, date them, fresh tomato sauce. You can even use like canned San Marzano tomatoes, an onion, just saute everything together and it lasts wonderfully. Roast a bunch of vegetables. Think about how you're going to repurpose your leftovers. I like to take some grains.
Sometimes you have to trick kids into eating leftovers.
I mean, I'll take leftover vegetables and make my egg bites, or I'll
Okay.
take leftover vegetables and make a grain mix with, couscous and quinoa and orzo, and put all the roasted vegetables in there. I mean, Brussels sprouts used to not be so popular, but now if you prepare
Well, if you fry them in
right-
bacon, you're good.
if you roast them with olive oil and salt and
not
pepper, they're
bacon.
really good.
I'm all, no, bacon. We need bacon. Can you tell I'm
Exactly.
hungry?
I know. It's that time, right?
It is that time. It
Well,
is
the
definitely
good
that
news
time.
is you
Well,
have some
thank you.
snacks.
I appreciate it. Well, listen, thank you so much. You're
you.
such an excellent chef. Of course, you have the banana on there too, but it is important to feed the kids, but it's also important to kind of manage our time
Yeah.
and to meal prep and think ahead.
sure,
So I
for sure.
appreciate it so
Thank
much,
you.
Marcy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And again, that is Marcy. We always appreciate her and her yummy ideas. Well, whether you have a driver heading to college or you just need to update your insurance policies, Lynn Sterla with Michigan Farm Bureau Insurance can help you with home, auto, business, or life insurance. Lynn takes the time to explain what you need and what you don't need on your policy, and will get you the best deal. She'll even help you download their app. You can find everything you need at lynnsterlainsurance.com. Well, it is time for our Halfway to 100 segment, and caring for your elderly loved one can be confusing, both emotionally and financially. Over 34 million Americans are caring for adults over 50, but they say knowledge is power. Sandy Adams is a certified financial planner in elder care for the Center for Financial Planning. You are based out of Southfield.
Yes.
And Sandy, thanks so much for joining us. You have a big webinar coming up.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
We are doing we're calling it a virtual longevity conference on August 27th from 11 to 1. First time we're doing it.
Okay.
We just found that so many of our clients who are older and their caregivers who are kind of in that, sandwich generation
Right.
are coming to us with this as a goal, a concern, caring for older adult parents. And we wanted to address that concern.
And there's so much involved in that, whether it is emotional or financial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so where do you start with that?
Well, we start with, we actually, for this conference, we went to our clients who are already facing this concern.
Okay.
And we said, what are the top concerns you're facing right now? And we said, let's bring in our top professional partners that we know that have expertise in this area. And we are bringing them in to address the top 3 concerns.
So what are the top 3 concerns?
Top 3 concerns we found with our clients are housing, like how do you choose a facility?
Yeah.
How do you find the facility? What questions do you ask? People just don't even know where to start with that. Caregiver stress. How do you address caregiver stress? What are the resources? How do you find people to help you with that? And then estate planning.
Okay.
Estate planning is always a thing. What documents do you need? How do we make sure they're updated?
The more uncomfortable the topics are, the harder they are to talk about.
Right,
Right?
exactly.
And so, the idea of, housing, there's always money attached to that, expenses, and then there's guilt attached to that part of it, because sometimes you can't afford to put them in like a A+ facility.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many issues with this.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it's people say they want to stay at home, always.
Age and place, right?
Age and place. I want to be cared for in my house, but if that becomes an issue that can't, it can't happen.
Right.
Most people haven't had the conversation of if that can't happen, then where would I be okay going? So most of those conversations haven't happened, and if we get to a point where, we have to go somewhere else, then if the client can't make that decision anymore, and it's left to the caregivers, the family, they don't want to make that decision for their parents.
So during this webinar, will you guys be talking about when should you start those conversations?
That's part of it.
Okay.
And then where are the decision points? How do you decide what's the appropriate care facility for each person based on what needs are, et cetera? What are those decision points?
And then for caregiver stress.
Yes.
Because that is a big thing, and caregivers need to know that they can take time for themselves, but they need to be able to take that time for themselves. Right. And so you guys will be addressing that as well.
Yes, yes. What are the resources? Where do you go for them? How do you ask for help?
That's a big one, right? Because a lot of times people are like, nope, I got this, and then they have then they don't have it.
Yeah, and kind of giving yourself permission to do that.
Right. So you'll be talking about that,
Yes.
and then also the estate planning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And this is happening August
27th.
27th. Okay, it is virtual.
It's virtual.
Okay, so what do people need to do?
They can go to our website. We have I think we have a QR code
Yep, the
to be able
QR code
to
is
do
right
that.
there.
And just register, no cost to anyone, and just jump on, and we'll have a recording afterwards.
I was
So if
just gonna ask.
So if you miss any of it, you'll be able to go back and re-listen. to the
And
information.
so at the Center for Financial Planning, what is your main objective there?
Well, we work with, we do comprehensive financial planning. So we're working with people for all parts of their financial life, retirement, educating children. But we've found that what we call longevity planning, helping people also plan for that last third of your life, is also important. And making sure that we're addressing those issues is kind of completes the process. So helping people with that is also important. So we have a whole group that just focuses on that as well.
I was on your website last night. There's a lot of you.
There's
that
a
were-
lot of, yep.
Like the list I was looking for you. The list just kept going.
Yeah. So we have a
you
team.
have all.
We have a team of 30.
Okay, so you have all different categories
Yep.
of how you can help people.
Yep, absolutely. So anything someone needs in their financial life, we can help address the issue.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Again, that is a free webinar.
Yep, absolutely.
August 27th, the QR code that was on the screen, of course, and Sandy also says that there'll be a recording of it that will be able to be on your website. Is
Yep.
that okay?
Yep.
All right, well, thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
And that is Sandy Adams, of course. And now the summer's winding down. The kids are headed back to school. Mom's able to refocus on some of the harder issues in their life. For women considering or in the process of divorce, a big fear is, am I going to be okay financially? And will we be able to continue the same lifestyle? Can I keep the house? Jackie Ressler is a certified financial analyst. That is a professional specifically trained to help clients answer those types of questions and work with their attorney to advocate on their behalf for a better and fair settlement. And the CDFAs at Ressler Divorce Consulting have over 25 years of experience in this area. They do offer a complimentary initial consultation to determine if this is the type of help you need. To schedule your initial appointment today, you can call 248-875-4985, or you can email Jackie at JackieResslerDivorce.com. This is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Thank you so much for being with us. I talk about it often. I wanted to be an actor when I grew up. Theater near and dear to my heart, which is why we created the Curtains Up segment. And this is amazing. A brand new show opening this weekend, Alice the Musical. And Chloe Fazzini plays Alice. And how exciting is this, Chloe?
It's very exciting. And I mean, as someone who has been around for a lot of the development of this musical, since I was probably very young to now, and I'm 23. So it's been a long process of just developing the libretto and all the music, composing the music. It's just a lot of work, and to have been there through all of that and to finally get to bring it to life is very, very exciting for me.
Okay, so we've had some people ask, well, Alice the Musical, what is that similar to? And it's really not similar to anything, but the name Alice, I think, throws people.
Just a little, because when
there's a scarecrow involved in this.
Yeah, when you think of Alice, a lot of times you think of the Disney movie Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
This Alice is actually spelled with a Y instead of an I, just to help with the throw off a little bit. But yeah, so it's about an indentured servant who lives around the time of the Salem witch trials. It's sort of in that area, and it's about her kind of finding out she's a witch, for real, and the process of that. There's also this little side story where an actual witch, an old witch in the woods, brings a scarecrow to life, and the scarecrow then falls in love with the girl. And it's there's a witch finder who's trying to find and execute witches in town, and he doesn't actually believe in witches. It's just this whole story, but eventually the scarecrow and Alice end up falling in love, and it's just a great.
Don't spoil it. It's a spoiler
I know,
alert.
it's a great story about just you know, what the things you sacrifice for love, and finding that you are capable of that love inside, and it's just, I think it's very inspiring.
Okay, so this is an original, I mean, this is the first time it's opening this weekend. So, I mean, how has this been for you as an actor to go through this whole process? And I think, is it your dad?
Yes.
It's your dad, right, that has composed this?
Yeah, he's the composer, and he's also helped with direction as well as the librettist, and we have other directors that are helping, like stage managers, directors, and stuff like that. There's a huge team of people, but yeah, my dad is the main composer of the show.
Okay, so he's the main composer, and how has that been for you to be in the show with, I mean,
Yeah.
from the ground up with your dad?
I know. I mean, because this show is very near and dear to my heart, because I've known about it for so long, it was an interesting experience adapting a character that I had seen developed and changed multiple times just in the process of creating it. And I think as an actor, doing something new is both scary and also not scary, because you are able to create this, so there's no way to do it wrong necessarily.
It's never been done,
Exactly.
right? So it's exactly how you will do it.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's also the part where you need to capture people with that performance because it's the first one, and you're setting the standard for the rest of, if anyone else does the show,
Right.
they're going to be watching you and you know what you do, because
They'll be like, how did Chloe do it?
yeah. So it is like, I wouldn't say it's scary, but it's like you feel kind of a weight on your shoulders of like, I have to make this performance, like it's the representative performance, like I have to do it well.
How long have you been in rehearsals?
We started we were doing workshops, I think in June. We started about, I think, mid-July with like real rehearsals, and so last week was our like Hell Week, Tech Week.
Oh yeah,
and then
Tech
this
Week.
week is show week, so we're doing like mic rehearsals, dress rehearsals, all that stuff. So it's gonna get really hectic and very busy. But
Okay, so as an actor, what are you going to be thinking on opening night?
I hope people like it. I mean, because yeah, since it's a new show and I have taken a part in I've been there, but I've also kind of helped out a little bit with the development of it. It's just, you just want people to respond well. You don't know how people are going to respond because, like I said, it's grim, but it's also in a fairy tale style. So there's a lot of like very serious topics, but also a lot of, you know, magical things
Right.
going on. So you hope that it's good for all ages. You hope
I
that
was
the
just going to ask you,
audiences
so
are
all
okay.
ages are...
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't say there's anything unsuitable for kids. We have a children's chorus in the show.
Oh, nice.
So we do have kids working on the show as well as a wide range of adults and teenagers, high schoolers, stuff like that. So I mean, I do think it's suitable for all ages. There are some serious like topics, and there's like not violence, but it gets scary a little bit because you're like, oh, what's going to happen? But no, I do believe that it's suitable for all ages. Yeah.
Okay, so opening night is when?
Opening night is the 23rd. It's going to
Okay.
be a Friday. Then it's going, so those are the night shows, are Friday, Saturday. They're both at the same time. I believe it's 7 or 8 p.m. I think it's 8.
We have the QR code there.
Yes.
So, okay, so people can scan for that
Yes,
information.
and so you can get tickets on the website as well as look at the cast.
And where's this playing?
At Meadowbrook Theater
That
at
is
Oakland
amazing.
University. Yeah. I know, we needed a big theater because we have a full orchestra, and the orchestra is going to be actually behind the actors instead of in the pit. We have just a bunch
So
of...
how many people overall are involved in this?
Again, I'm not super entirely sure. I know that I think our chorus or our entire acting pool is about 29
Okay.
To 30. And then we have like I said, we have stage crew, we have a 15-piece orchestra, and then there's...
And the chorus, right? The kids' chorus, too?
Yes, the kids' chorus. I'm not exactly sure how many are in the kids' chorus.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean,
is.
this
There's a
is
lot
an
of
amazing
people
thing.
working on this, yeah.
Well, I'm super excited to see this show. And for any aspiring actor out there, what do you say?
Just keep at it. I mean, and take risks for sure. You know, sometimes you only get to do things, you only get the chance to do things one time, and if you don't do it, you're going to spend the rest of your life wondering why you didn't. You know,
Right.
So yeah, just take your risks.
Where do you want to be in 5 years?
In 5 years? See, I'm more of like a performing singer than an actor.
Okay.
That's what I do. So I do my own thing on the side. I have
Okay.
a little music career. So I guess in 5 years I want to be touring probably.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Okay, so
problem.
the QR code that was up there for the tickets, it opens on August 23rd at Meadowbrook. How many shows in total? Is it 5?
3.
3.
So just one on Friday, one on Saturday, then it's a matinee on Sunday.
Okay, how are tickets?
So tickets are $38 general admission. I think they just opened up general admission, so there aren't any varying prices.
Okay.
So it should be $38 for one,
And I knew there were some VIP tickets.
There were.
Are they
I
gone?
believe that they just opened up the VIP section today to general admission.
Okay.
So because it's the last week and we had quite a few people buy VIP tickets, but at this point, like we're just trying to fill up that front couple rows. Yeah.
For sure.
So yeah.
Okay, well listen, break a leg.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I am so excited to see this, and it's it's amazing to be involved in something from the ground up. So good luck to all of you. Break a leg.
Thank you so much.
I will see you this weekend. Again, that is Chloe, and there is a fun fact. You can actually ask Alexa to play Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. You can also find us on Apple and Spotify, iHeart, and Odyssey, which means you can take the show on the go, wherever you are. Well, every month we highlight a nonprofit for our caffeinated act of kindness, and August has belonged to Volunteers of America, Michigan. Aubrey McFarlane is the president and CEO, and Aubrey, for the 4th straight year, you are partnering with Sam Bernstein Law Firm on the Call Sam Chopper. Tell me about this.
We are, and I have to say this year is really, really exciting. So we know how amazing the Lions are.
Yes.
So the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, partnering with Darren McCarty and Bad Pig Customs and the NFL with the Lions, are doing a custom motorcycle that will be a Lions motorcycle that is a part of this raffle.
Really?
And every bit of proceed comes back to support Volunteers of America and the work that we're doing with veterans.
Okay, so first of all, let's just talk for people who don't know what Volunteers of America does, Michigan. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We are one of the largest veteran service providers in the state, and so about the bottom third of the state is what we do. We serve veterans in, and we're helping them to find affordable and permanent housing. We're helping them to get jobs. We have a suicide prevention program that's actually for active duty military and veterans, and so our goal is to really make sure that veterans have a place to be sustained within their communities, and so we will help any veteran that comes our way. We also deal a lot with food insecurity, and that's where Sam Bernstein has been an amazing partner. They sponsor our kitchen in our transitional housing program that's in Detroit, and we're able to serve many, many veterans a year because of their generous support.
And okay, so now this is going on, this fundraiser, and how do people participate?
Yeah.
How do you get a cool hat?
Right, so you can go to any of the locations. If you go to voami.org, volunteersofamerica.michigan.org, you'll see that we have multiple locations where you can go to an activity or an event and you can get our swag, but you can also buy raffle tickets. So raffle tickets are sold 1 for $20, 3 for $40, or 8 for $100, which I highly recommend to buy multiples of the 8-pack. And so you can go to our website and see where we're selling those raffles. You can also put in an interest, and we will call you if you're not going to one of the events, and we will make sure that we get raffle tickets to you that way.
Okay, so when is this close?
Great question.
Yes.
The last day of the raffle is going to be October 27th.
Oh, okay.
And so that's going to be the last day of selling tickets. And so on that day, what we are going to do is we are going to draw 3 winners. And those 3 winners will be invited to go to the Lions game on November 17th. And so one of those 3 winners of the Lions tickets, they'll get 2 Lions tickets each, will be then chosen during the game to win this custom bike.
And I assume the bike will be at the game.
The bike will be at the game. We're
That is
crossing our
awesome.
fingers for halftime, but we will see how that lands.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
it's really amazing. We've talked about this can be a piece for any establishment to show off, even if you're not a rider, a motorcycle rider. So highly encourage people to support us in this venture.
Well, listen, Aubrey, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to feature you guys all month long, and this is so cool, and I'm keeping the hat.
Good. Keep it, wear it, and thank you for having us on. We really appreciate
you. And the website where people can reach out to you.
voami.org, Volunteers of America, Michigan.org.
Thank you, Aubrey.
Thank you.
And again, that is Aubrey McFarlane. She is the CEO and president of Volunteers of America, Michigan. Well, we are always grateful for our coffee of the day from Blue Hat Coffee Gallery in downtown Farmington. Philip actually on the road today, not able to join us, but if you are in downtown Farmington, make sure you go say hi. Of course, their hours are 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. If you happen to drink coffee late into the night, like some of us do, go say hi to Philip and his wife, Catherine. Well, this has been such a fun show. A little sad about the kids going back to school, of course, but we did, we had to head into Time War Vintage to get some of their unique items. So the countdown was, we had 2 watches, a bracelet,
Oh, what you purchased?
Yes, an alarm clock. What else? And a trumpet that's actually a kazoo. A kazoo, yeah. So it was a loud weekend.
Was it?
It was a loud weekend. We have another busy weekend, of course, coming up. We will be heading to the Marysville Hot Wheels Festival. That is on Saturday. We are judging the pinup contest, me
Correct.
and Jason. Super excited about that. And then we have the Walk Like Mad and the Spalding Scramble September 7th. Two very different but important causes that we are honored to be a part of. And Jason, usually we talk about the giveaway. I left it in my car.
That's okay.
But it's
I can tell you that it's T-shirt. There's a T-shirt in there.
There's a car. There's a new gift card in there.
Yeah.
I won't tell you from where. But such a cool thing because we're celebrating all things classic cars.
Correct.
In August.
Especially since the Woodward Cruise was yesterday,
Yes,
or the other day.
Saturday, yes.
Saturday.
So an amazing time. It's been so much fun to see those classic cars up and down Woodward. Be stuck in traffic. A good traffic jam, though.
Absolutely, and there's enough time for people to still get in and register to win.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do they do that? Tell me.
You can do, and it has been put on LinkedIn.
Yep.
On your LinkedIn page as well. So you can
Find it
comment. You want to comment. You want to comment with, 3 friends. Tag 3 friends. Comment, share, and like the page, and then you're automatically entered to win. And you could get a really cool.
There is a lot in this.
Some stuff from Marysville is going to be coming into
very
it
cool.
as well.
Yeah,
so I'm excited about this one. You're going to miss out if you don't.
You are certainly going to miss out. And so lots of stuff. Again, you can join us in Marysville this weekend for the Hot Wheels weekend going on. And of course, we want to say a big thanks to everyone here at My Michigan TV. Of course, Dave Scott, his team, Jared in the control room, also David in the control room, and Joel running the teleprompter. Thank you so much. Thank you to our live studio audience. And of course, thank you to my children who are here. Daisy, Carson Bowman, thank you guys. Love you so much. Happy school year, everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye.